My name is Thor Gunnarsson. I'm the Vice President for Business Development at CCP.
This is EVE Online's 10th anniversary. Can you tell me what you have planned to celebrate this 10th anniversary?
Well, the first project that we're working on is called the Collector's Edition box. And this is a exciting project where we're really taking a number of both physical projects, a printed book, for example, commemorating the first 10 years of EVE, but also in-game items from both EVE and Dust, and kind of putting it together into a really exciting package that we think is going to be resonating nicely with our fans and players as that comes out.
Can you go into more detail on what's in there? Like, I heard that there's going to be a symphony soundtrack and perhaps figurines too?
That's right. We actually recorded the Icelandic Symphony Orchestra performing the music of EVE on Wednesday as the opening concert at FanFest. So we'll actually be bringing that recording to the Collector's Edition. So we'll have a high-quality recording of that symphony performance. We will have some interesting items like the EVE Rifter for the Rifter ship from EVE Online. We're actually making that as a basically a mountable ship model, but it's also a 4-port USB hub, which is kind of cool. And quite a few other things. We have a book that documents really the founding of CCP, the making of EVE Online, and the first 10 years of the universe that we've created. So it's a number of different things that are basically going in, but also we're bringing back and republishing for the first time CCP's first game. Now, not many people know that when we founded the company back in 1997, our first project was actually a board game called Hættuspil in Icelandic, or translated as Danger Game. It featured a comedian and actor on the front of the box of that game, who is now the mayor of Reykjavik, Jón Gnarr. We actually decided that we wanted to really bring back that first game that CCP created. So we've actually remastered it, translated it all into English, designed it sort of for the 21st century again, but he's reprising his role on the cover of the game, which we're kind of excited about.
Now, are there any benefits, like in-game benefits for current gamers to purchase this 10th anniversary?
Absolutely. We'll be having permanent items both in EVE Online, so some unique ships that are only available in the Collector's Edition. On the Dust 514 side, we're actually going out with a series of Amar drop suits, again, that are not consumable, so they're permanent items for the game, and a series of some really cool Amar rifles, laser rifles, and pistols that, again, will be unique to the Collector's Edition.
You mentioned that there will be a book to cover EVE in the Collector's Edition. Who will be writing this book? Because it's been around, EVE has been around for 10 years. That's a lot of information to put into a book. That's
a lot of information to put in. You're absolutely right. So the best guy that we could think of to actually edit and work on this project is Zapatero, or Richie Shoemaker, who was the editor of Eon magazine until recently. He's actually helming this effort. He's been documenting and writing about EVE Online for now a decade. And we couldn't think of a better guy to actually create this book because of his deep expertise and knowledge of both the game, the community, and of course, his intimate knowledge of also of CCP as a company.
Speaking of the community, I understand right now you're asking your fans, your subscribers, to submit stories. Can you talk a bit more about that?
That's right. So we have a project called True Stories from the First Decade. It's actually a crowdsourcing website that we launched a few weeks ago at truestories.eveonline.com. And the concept behind that site is really to gather in one place all of the amazing stories that have happened in EVE, the real stories of the players. So not the sci-fi backlore or the kind of fictional setting, but actually the real events that have made this experience so visceral and so real for many of our players over the years, and certainly for us as developers. So True Stories is basically a way for players to submit their own stories, synopsis or longer versions. Those stories are made available to everyone, and we then have a voting period where actually the subscribers of EVE will choose the best stories. And from there, we're really looking at ways in which we can take that archive now of stories from one place and actually use those to inspire media projects and sort of fictional treatments of these stories in other media.
And I understand that MoMA is here, the New York Museum of Modern Art. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, we're really excited. Paola Antonelli, the senior curator of the New York Museum of Modern Art, was gracious enough to make some time in her schedule to spend time with us here at FanFest. It was her team that curated the Applied Design exhibition that is now running at the MoMA. where they basically chose an initial set of games that were inducted into the permanent collection of the MoMA. EVE Online was one of those games. And we actually set out and created a special project with MoMA to try and represent EVE in a way that was really telling sort of the higher level themes of the game, which of course is fairly complex. And so we did that as a video project where we actually recorded about 1.2 terabytes of data from one day in the life of EVE Online, December 9th, 2012. We told our players through a dev blog that we were basically documenting this for the MoMA project, and they submitted fraps and video captures basically of their own activity within the game. And then we used that to create basically a slice of 24 hours that we present as an introduction to EVE Online, if you will, and that's at the MoMA now.
Will this be a touring exhibit?
It is an exhibit that is only at MoMA. Whether MoMA will in future send it on the road, I'm not sure. You'd have to ask Paula about that.